Hi everyone, this is Ms. Zahra and this is our first video to help you prepare for the end of term science exam for term 3. Just like term 1 and 2, the exam will be made up of 20 questions. 15 questions are multiple choice and 5 questions will be free response. That means writing questions. Okay, so let's start with the first lesson that the exam will be about, and that is structure and functions of plants. From page 10, there will be 3 questions. 2 questions based on the text and 1 based on the figure, the picture. So let's summarize what we know about this section, and after we have summarized everything from all the pages, you can try a quizzes link to see how well you can do on this section. Okay, so page 10 is all about what plants need and the parts of plants that give it what it needs. So let's think about what plants need. There are 5 basic needs of plants. That means that all plants need 5 things. So all plants need nutrients to grow. They need water. They need space. And we all know the most important that we think about mainly. They need sunlight and air. Okay, so these are our 5 basic needs of plants. Okay, so now let's list why they need it and what parts of the plant give it what it needs. Okay, so let's think about the sun and the air. Plants need the sun and the air because they use it to make food. So the part of the plant that makes food is the leaf. So leaves are the parts of the plant that make food for the plant. So inside of our leaves are small little holes. So these holes, the opening in leaves, they are called stomata. Sounds like the word tomato, stomata. And from those little stomata, the air goes in and out. Yes, I'm going to choose a different color to write about the different gases found in air. So air is made up of gases. And there are 2 gases. One is oxygen, and plants use oxygen and the other gas, carbon dioxide. They use both of these gases to live. So carbon dioxide they use to make food, and oxygen they use to break the food. Okay, so they break their food. Why? To get energy. And where does that energy come from? The sun. So the plant takes the energy from the sun and water and carbon dioxide, and it uses it to make food. And when it needs energy, it will break the food and take out the energy that it made. Okay, so we're going to just talk about one more point. And that is, where does it get its nutrients and water from? Okay, so the nutrients and the water the plant needs, it gets it from the roots. The roots of the plant take in the nutrients and water it needs. Okay, so we spoke about the parts of plants and what it needs. It needs 5 things. Plants need air, nutrients, water, space, and sunlight. It gets the sunlight it needs from the sun, and it takes that energy and uses carbon dioxide and water to make food. When the plant needs energy, it will break down the food and use it for its energy. And it will break it using the gas oxygen. How does the gas go in and out of the plant? It goes in and out of the plant from the leaves, the small holes in the leaves. This is also where the plant makes the food by taking the sun. The nutrients and water are taken into the plant from the roots. And of course, if a plant does not have enough space, it will not be able to get what it needs, the other things that it needs in order to grow. These are the main points you have to know from page 10. Okay, after reviewing this, please make sure that you try some of the questions on the review given to you in Telegram from Miss Irwa. Okay, so now let's look at the picture. On page 10, there are 2 plants. This plant, which we may have seen around the UAE, is called the palm tree. The palm tree grows in the UAE because the UAE is very sunny, and the palm tree needs a lot of sun. These green things over here growing on the roots of this tree, they are called mosses. Mosses are a kind of plant that do not need a lot of sun, and that's why they grow in very shady areas. So shady means that it does not have a lot of sun. So this kind of plant does not need a lot of sun, only a little. But the palm tree needs a lot of sun, and that's why it grows in a very sunny place. Okay, now let's move on to page 15. On page 15, there are 2 main concepts. There are 2 parts of plants that are used for reproduction, and these are seeds and fruits. So let's discuss what the seed is used for and what the fruit is used for. Okay, so number 1, we need to know that word reproduction. Okay, so I'm going to write that first. Reproduction. Reproduction means to make more of something. So when a plant makes more plants, or an animal makes more animals, we call this reproduction. You can think of it as the plant having a baby or the animal having a baby, okay? To make more of itself. So let's speak about the seed and the fruit. So first we'll speak about the the seed, and I will draw a picture of it. Okay, so let's draw a picture of our seed. I'm not very good at drawing, so if it's not the best, I apologize. Right, so in our seed, we have 3 main parts. Okay, we'll try and represent them with a few different shades. I'm just going to choose black again for the outside. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 main parts of the seed. The seed has an outside. The outside section of the seed is called the seed coat. The seed coat, you will see 2 words, the seed coat protects the plant, the seed. So it protects the seed. The seed coat is the outside, and its job, its function is to protect. Then we have the whole middle section of the seed. So that big section in the middle looks like a big seed. Everything on the inside of the seed. We call it the cotyledon. And the cotyledon gives food, so we call it the food source because it gives food to the growing embryo. And what is the embryo? The embryo is this little thing. The embryo, it is the baby, the new plant. The new plant will grow from the embryo. So an embryo grows into a new plant. What gives it the food to grow is the cotyledon, the whole inside section. And what keeps it safe is the seed coat. These are the three main parts of the seed. And it is used for reproduction to make new plants. Now let's talk about the fruit. So after the plant develops, seed develops in the flower. So if you didn't know where this happens in the flower. In a flower, the seed is made, and it happens in the ovary. So this is where the seed is made. And after the seed is made, the ovary will enlarge. Enlarge means it will become bigger. And when it becomes bigger, it will grow a fruit around it. And that fruit protects the seed. So the fruit protects the seed. And animals come, and the animal will then eat it. Okay, so I'll change the color now. So it protects the seed, and animals will eat the fruit. And when they eat the fruit, they spread the seed. So plants can't walk around and put their seeds wherever they want for it to grow. So they will enlarge. The fruit the ovary will enlarge. It will become bigger. It will turn into a fruit. The animal will eat it. And when the animal has its droppings, it will have the seed inside of it, and it will go into the ground and grow into a new tree. And this is how plants reproduce. Okay, these are the main points from page 15. There will be 2 questions from that page. Please make sure that this diagram, you learn the parts of the seed using this diagram as well, okay? Become familiar with it, understand it, know the 3 main parts. The last thing we're going to talk about for structures and functions of plants is on page 16. There will be 1 question from this page, and there is a lot of information, but most of the information about these 2 plants. So we will summarize using these 2 plants. The first point is the meaning of the word adaptation. Okay, so what is an adaptation? An adaptation is a physical trait. That means something on the body of the animal, or a behavior that helps the animal to survive. So anything on the body of the animal, or how the animal or the plant act to help them to survive. So I'm just going to put the main point. Adaptations help the living thing, the animal or the plant, to survive. So if we look at these 2 pictures, we can see that one plant is growing in a very hot and dry place, and the second plant is growing in a hot and wet place. So their environments are different, and that is why the structures on the plant are different. So in the first picture, we can see a cactus. is one. You may see the word cactus or cacti. So I will write both. It's just a way to say one or many. So cactus, or you will see the word cacti. It doesn't matter. Cactus or cacti, what do? They have special adaptations. That means their body parts are different. They have thick stems, thick, waxy stems. You may see these words. Why do they have this thick stem? Why is it so big? Why is it so waxy? It's so shiny. So it has these stems to store water. So their job is to store water. The second thing they have that is spoken about in the book, they have dense, shallow roots. So their roots are dense and close to the ground. Shallow means they are close to the ground. And why are they dense and shallow? Because they want them to soak up the rain very quickly. So they absorb or they soak up they take in the rain very quickly. So think about why this is. The desert gets very little rain. So when it rains, the cactus wants to take that water quickly before it evaporates and dries up. So the cactus has these two adaptations that are mentioned in the book. Number one, thick, waxy stems. And that helps it to keep the water inside of it. It stores their water. And the second thing, it has dense, shallow roots. Its roots are close to the ground, and that helps it to pick up the rain quickly. Okay, the second plant is the orchid. So I'm just going to change the color of my pen. Now let's talk about this orchid. An orchid is a plant that grows in a very warm and wet place. So it has a lot of water. So this one doesn't want to keep water inside of it. So if you look at it, you can see that its roots, these are roots, are in the tree. So we call their roots aerial roots because they are growing above the ground. So these aerial roots help to hold the plant onto the tree. So we use the word anchor, like in a ship, anchor. Anchor the plant, and obviously it's above the tree. The job of the root is to take in nutrients. So its roots are above the ground. We call them aerial roots, so they can anchor the plant and take in nutrients. They also have special shaped leaves. Their leaves have a different shape. They are called tip leaves. And their leaves are this sort of shape to let the water fall off it very quickly. So they let the water fall off quickly. We use the word drain. They drain the excess. Excess means extra. They drain the excess water. So these leaves are the shape to let the water fall off quickly. And this helps the plant because it gets so much water. If it has too much water, it will rot. So it doesn't want too much water. It wants just a little bit, okay? Okay, this is the last page that will be on tested on structures and functions of plants, and this page is a writing question. Okay, so remember, writing questions, they may be a little longer and you may have to learn a little more spelling words, but they help you in the long run because they are 8 marks each. Okay, so what are the main points that you have to know from this page? you have to know the function of the root, the stem, and the leaf. So if we look at our parts, our roots are over here on the bottom. And if you look at the roots carefully, they kind of look like fingers. So their job is to hold the plant in place. They hold the plant just like hands do. They also take in water and nutrients. And they have a third job as well. In some plants, they can store food, like a carrot. Then we have our stem. After the water goes into the root, it has to move up the plant. And it does that in the stem. So the water goes up the stem through tubes. So the stems do two things. They transport materials, the water and the nutrients from the root, and also it supports the plant. It is holding up. Support means to hold up the plant. If you cannot learn the spelling of the word support, learn hold up. If you cannot learn transport, learn move. Transport means to move. Okay, so it moves water in the plant. It holds up the plant. And the last thing are our leaves. The leaves of the plant, they are where food is made. So they make food for the plant. We call this process where it makes food photosynthesis. You may use that word if you like, but make food is enough. So what do? They make food for the plant. Okay, they are also the part that catches the light. So capture means to catch the light, and it's where gases are changed. So remember we learned this earlier, the gases go in and out, our carbon dioxide and oxygen gases, and also our water. There's water that leaves the plant from the little holes at the bottom, and that is called transpiration, when the water leaves the plant. Okay, when water leaves the leaf of the plant, we call it transpiration. Okay, these are the main points that you needed to know from this page. And please scan the link and give these questions a try. Good luck.